Welcome back to another beginner video. Now, in the last beginner one in the series, we talked about Kali Linux, some of the basic tools that are available just out of the box, right? We browsed through the different categories here. I kind of highlighted the ones that I use the most in the pen testing space. And there's also a bunch of other crazy things you can play around with if you so choose. But what I want to do in this video is talk about something that's pretty important, and that is how do you install your extra tools that aren't built into Kali, right? Your custom tools, your things like from GitHub and things like that, right? Because that's an extremely important part, and you've probably seen a lot of tools that other pen testers use, and you might look for it on Kali and notice that you don't have it. Well, there's a lot of tools like that. I'm going to show you how to get those, where to put them so they're nice and organized, and how to build out your system exactly how you want it to be. What's up, guys? This is Ryan from elevatecyber. I'll just get right into it here. Let's look at the Linux file system, shall we? So from the root directory, we see the different file systems here, right? And you have your binaries that are your system binaries and things like that. Anything related to what happens when it boots up, right? Your devices, etc, which is like a lot of times where things are initialized. You initialize, like start a service, stop a service, things like that. Normally on startup, kind of what happens, if you will. Home directories for the user, and basically there's a whole bunch of stuff, right? Processes, roots, home directory, media, like CDs and things like that, optical devices. But what you would need to know out of all this really is you want to look at this op directory here. So that's kind of, I think I'm not sure if it stands for optical or optional, but either way, this is where it's just common practice to put your extra tools here. I mean, that's what I've been doing for the longest time, and talking to other Linux users, this is pretty much the de facto way to do it. So you go in the op directory. This is where I like to store my scripts, and I know a lot of other people do as well. So that's what I would recommend as one centralized place to put everything in. Now, as you see here, I have a number of different directories here. These are all files that I have grabbed, mostly from GitHub, if not exclusively from GitHub. GitHub, if you're not aware, is a website that has a lot of code in it, basically, right? Tons of projects. Anyone can upload their project to GitHub, and you can pull down their code, the source code, right? And you can run it on your machine. So a lot of times you'll find some really good repositories in here with tools, anywhere from developer tools that are programs made for various purposes. Any program you can think of, right? You could probably find on GitHub, and then as well as security tools, no different, right? So GoBuster, right? That's something you probably heard of a lot. Well, if I search for that, you'll see there is a GitHub repository for GoBuster. So I'll just use this as an example, right? Well, I might actually have it here already, so that might mess with stuff. Let's see. Do I or do I not have it? Okay. Well, nowadays GoBuster, you can get it from, I think, the apt repository. So this will be a perfect example. I don't have it here. Let's say I wanted to pull it down. What I would do is I would run git, because git is a version control program built in to Linux. On your Kali box, you'll have it by default. And basically, all you need to know is that it allows you to interface pretty cleanly with the web interface of GitHub, right? So if I want to pull this down, all I need to do is copy the URL. Now, the important part is when you copy the URL, you want to make sure you're not looking at any particular file in that project, because that will be the incorrect one. I'll show you the incorrect way. See, right now I'm in main.go. So if I copy this link here and I try to run git clone on that. It's going to say, hey, this is not, repository not found. So you want to make sure that you're in the root of the repository, basically. So if I go back, this is what level I want to be at right here. So if I copy this instead, what you'll notice is that when I run git clone, it'll actually pull it all down. And as you see here, we now have this, and it has a number of files in it. And then from here, since it is GoBuster, we would just need to use Go to both build it and then run the binary, and then we're good to go. So yeah, that is pretty much the big part here about installing it. Now, if there's things you want to install additional that are not through GitHub, like something like VS Code, well, that is something you could do through the apt repository, I do believe. So apt is a package manager for Debian Linux, right? Ubuntu as well, right? Anything Debian based. So Ubuntu, Kali, all that are, they all use the apt package manager. So you just say apt install Python or something, for example, right? You want Python. Well, you'll have that by default on Kali, but that's just one such example. There'll be situations that will come up where you need to install stuff with this package manager. So I wouldn't worry too much about that, but just know that, yeah, that is another way that oftentimes you'll be installing extra stuff on your box. And another thing you can do is you can do apt. You do apt update to update your repositories, and then apt upgrade to upgrade your distro. Make sure everything's up to date. It's good to do that every once in a while. Keep things fresh. Keep things current. And yeah, I don't want to get too convoluted in this video. I want the beginners to be able to follow along nicely, understand what's going on. One thing that I like to do additional is I have a little scripts directory here where I wrote some custom scripts to do things. I like to keep it in my op directory as well, just to keep everything in one centralized place where it's easy to reference, easy to find anything I might need. So hopefully this video was of help. If so, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the like button as well to help get the message out there. And if you are eager to learn some more beginner content here, check out the beginners playlist on the screen now. I'll see you guys right over in those videos. Thanks for watching.